What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the Ad Podcast, broadcasting to you from day 2 at Cannes here in the south of France. We are here with The Variable, Courtney Lewis, who is the CEO and founder, and Courtney Williams, who is the Chief Growth Officer. Thanks for coming on the show, ladies.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
So how's your Cannes been so far?
You know, we're only on full day one. We got here yesterday.
Let's go.
But it's been busy so far, and I think we've got
Nice.
a busy afternoon.
Awesome. Well, you want to tell us a little bit about Variable and what you guys got going on this week?
Yeah, absolutely. So The Variable is an independent agency based in North Carolina.
Let's go.
We specifically focus on servicing what we call growth-focused underdog brands. So
Okay.
really actually don't go after the big guys. We're focused on kind of helping challenger brands
I love it.
punch above their weight, which is really exciting, which is a little bit ironic being in Cannes where it feels like it's only big dogs, right?
Well, hey, there's a lot of indies out
But
here,
you know,
too.
there's a lot of things to be
It's
learned.
kind of the moment
and
of the indie agency, I
for
feel
sure,
like right now,
for
so,
sure. We feel the same way. So I'm just excited to kind of take it all in.
Awesome. And what do you guys got going on this week? Any thought leadership? Anything exciting to kind of get your name out there?
Well, I'm excited to support Courtney. She's
Let's
supporting
go.
the Young Lions today, actually.
Oh, cool.
Briefing in
Okay.
those new students, which is
Nice,
exciting.
nice,
And
yeah.
then we're just excited to be here. I'm a month in at The Variable, and
Nice.
so we're excited to get to know the small agency landscape some more. Like you said, it's the year of the indies, and so just finding time to get with the industry and see some of our friends that are here.
Awesome. Yeah, I love the idea that you're giving back to the Young Lions program. It's a super fun part of Cannes, and sometimes a part that gets ignored by just the, all the transactions and all the things that are happening offsite and the parties and stuff like that. So why did you feel like that was an important thing to get involved in? What does that do for you personally, professionally, and what made you decide to jump into that program?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really on brand for the agency and our values, right? We're focused on underdogs. I think this industry can be incredibly competitive and incredibly cutthroat in a lot of ways. And I think anytime you have the opportunity to help young creatives kind of get their footing and get feedback from a level of talent and a level of leadership that it otherwise might take years for them to get, I think is really important. And I think being able to do it in this type of setting, I think it just opens up kind of the aperture for young folks to think about like, wow, I could do this, I could be here, I could have work here one day. And yeah, I think it's candidly just kind of part of the ethos of the agency and fits really well with kind of what we believe too.
I love that. Yeah, it's young people are under a lot of pressure right now. 25% unemployment coming out of college. AI, being something that is maybe impacting the entry level more than other senior roles and stuff like that. So I think get an intern every summer and try and teach them and stuff like that. So I think it's really cool.
That's awesome. We just kicked off our internship program
let's
a
go.
couple weeks ago. We have
Let's go.
6 or 7 this year.
Amazing.
Yeah, we'll call them the Vandals. So similarly, we feel really strongly about kind of coaching up that next level of talent.
Very cool. So when you think about underdog brands, is there a process that you bring them through from a creative perspective to identify, an insight or a part of their business that you feel would allow them to embrace that title of a challenger brand and figure out a way to grow market share and, like you said, punch above their weight class? Is there a creative process that you bring them through to reveal those insights?
Well, I think even before the creative process, even as we're vetting and thinking strategically about those brands, these are brands who aren't the category captains, right? So
Yeah.
they're not able to outspend just to get that attention. So the one thing that we love to remind them is that every brand, like there's a variable and a growth for every brand, right? It's our job to figure out how do we uncover it. We've got to find it, unlock it, and scale it, and that's what we started to talk about at The Variable. And so it's whether it's hidden in the media or in consumption or sometimes in the perception of the product itself. That's
Interesting.
our job to really
Yeah.
unlock it. And I think that was one of the best parts about coming to The Variable is like we're a bunch of hungry and curious people, and so we match really well with clients who do the same. And so part of that is all from the vetting process from the very beginning. But then as you get into the strategic process and the creative process, again, our job is to unlock that variable for them and just show them that just because you're an underdog, you can still make an outsized impact in the world.
I love it. I love that idea of the variable is very much in the brand, right? It's like searching for that, that key inside, that thing that you can grab onto and exploit, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
For
so
sure.
that's cool. Awesome. So what else do you guys got going on this week?
I was gonna say it's mainly networking.
Nice.
Gonna meet some clients. We are going over to the Brand Innovators Summit later
Fun.
today.
That'll be a good time.
Part of our new business growth family at NBC. Going over female quotient, Inkwell
go.
Beach. So just trying to just get as much exposure here. I'm cutting it short. I'm leaving Thursday. Courtney's
Okay.
here till Friday. So
Nice.
just trying to stay outside and get to see and experience as much people as we can. And stay cool. I was gonna
Nice,
say.
of course. Is there any particular thought leadership or ideas that you're trying to explore from the perspective of wanting to learn or hear somebody interesting from a stage? Anything that's going on this week that you are, kind of honing in on that you want to immerse yourself in and be able to bring back to the teams?
Yeah, I think at the Variable, we've been pretty front-footed about the use of AI and
Nice.
being really thoughtful about where it's implemented, how it's used. It doesn't scare us. It doesn't scare us in terms of our place in the industry. It's really another tool that we believe we need to wield appropriately. And so I think there's an interesting juxtaposition of AI with an industry that is so classically focused on creative and craft. And I'm curious to kind of see both in the work that's kind of on display this week and then also in the conversations that are happening around AI. It feels like people are starting to come around to this reality that it is here to stay. It is part of the process. Everybody needs to figure out where it exists inside of that and be truthful and transparent about it.
Yep.
So I'm particularly interested to kind of see, after everything kind of nets out at the end of the week, what's the net on the feeling around AI as it relates to creativity.
Is there a component of AI that's been the most impactful for your guys' business so far, the most transformative?
Oh gosh, I think the most transformative thing has been giving people permission to experiment and the space and grace to do so. I think, learning how to use AI is really open-ended. It requires trial and error. It requires experimentation. It requires bad ideas. And I think for us, our creative team has always been heavily encouraged to experiment and try new things, and we've invested accordingly. And so I think giving people permission to fail, to create shitty work with AI, and then also create great work, I think is the type of conditions you want to create at any agency, particularly when you're adding in such a new tool.
The only other thing that I was going to add, in addition to AI, but also what we want to experience this week, is obviously Cannes is so focused on the final work output, and I think you alluded to that earlier. What I'm really interested in, again, rejoining the Variable and the small agency indie network again, is like, what are the environments that people are creating around the work?
Nice.
Especially as we think about Young Lions or whether it's AI, is there a culture of experimentation still? Is there that permission to try trial and error to get to the best work that's obviously winning the awards here at Cannes? So that's what I'm interested in is, yes, I want to walk the wall and see what's winning and see who's taking home some hardware, but more importantly, how are the people around them feeling when they're creating that work? What do the agencies within those things look like, so that hopefully we can bring some of that back, obviously, to the Variable.
I love it. So you kind of alluded that you a return to the Variable?
So not to the Variable, but to the indie world.
The indie
So
world, and then
I've
did you spend some time in Holdco land or
Holdco
something?
land
Okay,
and indie. So I've gone back and forth across
Nice.
the table, but I'm really excited to be back. In
Awesome.
the small agency world.
What was the key factor for you deciding to go from big agency back to indie?
This one right
Let's
here.
go. Indie. Are you guys been friends for a long time?
We
Or?
both, Courtney was in new business and growth before she
Okay.
became the CEO,
Let's
so that's
go.
how we got to know each other. But
Nice.
to be honest, as I was just thinking about my career and wanting to move forward, and as a chief growth officer and as a partner, obviously now at the Variable, to be honest, it wasn't really just about the name on the outside of the agency, but it was really about the people and the peers that I would be leading with. And it doesn't get much better than this one, and also 2 Courtneys are better than one. So I mean, I couldn't pass it up. I couldn't say no.
I love that. Very fun. Well, thanks for coming on and speaking with us a little bit, telling us about your shop. Congratulations on the new role.
you.
I'm wishing you the best of luck. So if folks at home want to follow along with your guys' work, connect with either of you guys directly, where would you like to send people to stay in touch?
So go to thevariable.com for the
Let's go.
website. But Courtney and I are both on LinkedIn. So Courtney Lewis, CEO of the Variable, and Courtney Williams, CGO and partner of
Awesome.
the Variable.
Well, have a great week at Cannes, ladies.
Thank you. You too. Thanks for
Appreciate
having
your
us.
time. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
YouTube. Finding the right audience to build a media plan requires hours of research. And optimizing campaigns is time-consuming and a bit of a guessing game. That's why we built technology to do it for you. Strike Social.